Hello, welcome to Read the Factory Manual. I'm Bill, and I'll be your guide through this custom restoration. What we have here is a TootsieToy Jeep Commando that has a bunch of fond memories for me. In this model Jeep, we explored the Mojave Desert when I was a kid with my grandfather, and we explored and played, and most importantly, we had a great time. To the best of my knowledge, these Tootsie Toys were sold in a jam pack in the late 60s and early 70s. Looking at this example, you can see it's had much love. The paint is worn, the axles are rusted, and it looks like this thing was buried in the sandbox for quite some time. So let's get started restoring this Tootsie Toy. Our first step is to remove the wheels from the car. We have three different options in order to accomplish this. One, I could cut the axles, but then I would lose the neat crimp that's on the end of the axles, and I'd lose the originality of the model. Second, we could bend the tab, but in my experience, this breaks the casting and could ruin the model. Finally, we could just soak it in hot water and then gently pry off the wheels and tires, leaving the axles in place that we can clean up easily with a wire brush on the Dremel. And that's the attempt that we're doing with this model. Before I strip the paint off the Jeep, I want to remove the rust from the axles. The axles are in fairly bad shape, and I fear that the wire brush alone will not remove all of the rust. To accomplish this task, I'll soak the entire Jeep in CLR. I don't know if this is a bad idea or not, but the idea is to remove the rust and hopefully the corrosion from the Jeep as well. It's late here, so I'll place the entire Jeep in a jar filled with CLR and let it sit overnight. This morning, I went to go check to see how the Jeep fared. It looks like CLR was a very bad idea. I was not expecting it to eat away at the casting at all. I was hoping it would just remove the rust from the axles and maybe the corrosion from the die-cast metal. After attempting to clean it with the wire wheel on the Dremel, it's time to give it a few rounds in the ultrasonic cleaner and wish for the best. After cleaning this wonderful Jeep and getting all the crud off of it, I listened to what the Jeep was trying to tell me. First it was saying, why the hell did you put me in CLR? But after we got through that discussion, we figured out that why don't we just make this Jeep look like it's been sitting out in the Mojave Desert for years and years, looking over the scenery and enjoying the desert. So that is the plan. We're going to rust it up and make it look like it's been out there for quite a while. I will be painting the Jeep to match the great old Jeeps and cars sitting out in the Mojave Desert, like these I found during my adventures. After mixing the right color, I paint the Jeep with the base coat using a brush. I thin the paint out a bit to allow it to flow better without leaving brush strokes. I painted the top and the bottom the same color. Next, I applied a dry brushing of a light rust color that's intended to provide some highlight to the rust base coat. Lastly, I'll dry brush a darker rust color in spots that look like it needs it. The seats don't rust, but they do tear, so I'll paint the seats with a dark rust color first. Moving to the details, I paint the grille, the lights, and a few remaining chrome pieces. I then add a few spots where you can see the foam padding where the seat covers have torn. The wheels need to be painted rust and the tires need to be flat. That's why I cut off the bottoms. Now it's time to reassemble the Jeep. We'll reattach the axles, press on the wheels, and to simulate flat tires, we'll glue on the parts of the wheels we cut off earlier. We have reached the end of another build from Read the Factory Manual. Well, we started out with a Jeep that had a lot of promise. I had a lot of neat ideas for this Jeep. I was thinking of making a new windshield and all sorts of neat things for this Jeep. And then the CLR incident happened. Well, I guess I learned that CLR is bad for die-cast models. But we recovered, we listened to what the Jeep had to say to us, and this is what we ended up with. We ended up with a Jeep that looks like it's been stranded out in the middle of the desert for years and years and years. It's all rusted, some parts are still there, including the headlight. The tires are flat, and the seats are tattered and frayed. I hope you have enjoyed this video from Read the Factory Manual. If you have, hit that like button. If you are subscribed, well, thank you. If you're not subscribed, please do. You'll see much more videos like this one. This was my first attempt at stop motion and narration after the fact. Please let me know what you think. Do you like the old style, the current style where I just talk as I am building? Or do you like this new style where I do some stop motion and narrate? Or would you rather see a mixture like the normal videos but do narration at the end where I tell a story? Please let me know what you think in the comments. I read all the comments, I delete all the bad ones, I keep all the good ones. And have a good day.